I was sorting my little brother's school supplies on the kitchen table when my uncle walked in and said, "Pack a bag, Ada, you're going to help a family friend for a few weeks." I was 14. I didn't know those would be the last normal words I'd hear for 3 years. I didn't know I was being taken by my own family to pay debts I never knew existed. That was August 2015. This isn't a story about a stranger snatching someone off the street. It's about how the people who were supposed to protect me handed me over. How I was taken into forced labor exploitation by my own uncle. How I became one of 6 girls locked in a house serving clients for money we'd never see. I watched girls vanish and new ones take their place. I survived 3 years of being moved from city to city, treated like inventory. I was a kid who loved dancing bachata in my bedroom and helping my mom cook sancocho on Sundays. Then I became a commodity. A number. A thing someone else owned. If you've ever trusted someone who broke you, felt trapped in your own community, or wondered how forced exploitation happens in immigrant families, this is how. And I'm still here. Barely. But I'm here. We came to the US from Colombia in 2013 when I was 12. My parents' 2 younger brothers, Miguel and Santiago, 6, and me landed in New Jersey with 2 suitcases each and hope bigger than our fear. My dad found construction work, my mom cleaned houses for cash, and sometimes got old clothes from employers. I went to middle school, sat in the front row, raised my hand even when unsure. Made friends with Jessica, who helped with homework and never laughed at my mispronunciations. I was good at math, my teacher said I could go to college, but what I really loved was dancing. Every afternoon after homework, I'd close my bedroom door, put on headphones, and move bachata, salsa, reggaeton, cumbia. My body felt free, like I could fly. My mom joked I'd wear holes in the carpet, I'd spin faster, teaching my brothers basic steps as they giggled. On Sundays, I helped mom cook sancocho the way her mother taught her. She'd hum, I'd dance around the kitchen. For those hours, it felt like we'd made it. We weren't rich. Shared a 2-bedroom apartment with another Colombian family, 6 adults, 4 kids, 1 bathroom. But we were together. Safe. Had food, had each other, or so I thought. What I didn't know, my uncle Carlos had borrowed money from dangerous people, and when he couldn't repay, they told him young girls could settle the debt. Girls like me. It was a Saturday in August, summer heat pressed through our broken AC. I was organizing Miguel's school supplies, notebooks, pencils, a donated backpack. He was starting 3rd grade, I was about to start 9th. My uncle Carlos arrived around 10 a.m. Not unusual. He brought groceries, helped Dad find work, fixed our toilet. We trusted him. But that morning felt different. He barely said hello, pulled my parents into the hallway. I heard murmurs, then Mom's voice go high, not yelling, but scared. Dad said something sharp in Spanish. Then silence. When they returned, Mom stared at the floor, eyes wet but not crying. Dad looked like he'd been punched. "Ada, come here," Uncle said in that smooth voice he used when he wanted something. I walked over, confused. Miguel and Santiago watched cartoons, oblivious. "You're staying with a family friend for a while. Light housekeeping. Maybe watch their kids. They'll pay you. It'll help your parents." I looked at Mom. She didn't look back. "How long?" "A few weeks. Maybe a month. They're good people. You'll be safe." I was 14. We needed money. I'd heard my parents argue about rent, Miguel's shoes, the electric bill. So I said yes, thinking I was helping. "Go pack a bag, not too much." I packed in 10 minutes. T-shirts, jeans, hoodie, underwear, phone charger, headphones, a Christmas photo of us all. I'm smiling. Mom hugged me tight, whispered, "Be good, mija, do what they say." Her voice cracked. Dad hugged me quickly, like he couldn't stand to look at me. Uncle drove me 2 hours to a brick house with barred windows, overgrown yard, peeling paint. No toys. No kids. "Why bars?" I asked. "Bad neighborhood," he said. "For safety." A woman answered before we knocked like she was waiting, looked at me like I was a package. "She speak English?" "Enough," Uncle said. Then to me, "Be good, do what they say. I'll tell your parents you're settling in, fine." He left. Didn't hug me. Didn't look back. The house had 5 other girls, 13 to 17, from Colombia, Guatemala, Honduras, Dominican Republic. They sat on a ratty couch, watching TV. When I walked in, their eyes said everything: pity, recognition, warning. We barely spoke that day. They showed me where I'd sleep: 3 mattresses on the floor, No sheets, one thin blanket each. Showed me the shared bathroom, the kitchen with rice, beans, stale bread. Maria, 16 from Medellin, whispered, "Eat when you can. Sometimes La Jeffa forgets to bring food. When do we start cleaning? When do I meet the kids?" Maria looked at me. "There are no kids, Nana." But my uncle said, "I know what your uncle said. They all say that. My cousin told me the same." "Your cousin?" She nodded. "He's the one who brought me here. Family, right? Supposed to protect us. But when people owe money, girls are currency." I still didn't understand, not until that night. No housekeeping. No kids. Just a lock on the outside of the door. Bars on windows. Men arriving after dark. La Jeffa pulled me aside around 8 p.m. Handed me a tight black dress. "Put it on. Wash your face. Put on lipstick." I was 14. I didn't even wear makeup. When I refused, she grabbed my face so hard I tasted blood. "Your uncle owes money. You work it off, or your parents get hurt. You run and done. Immigration takes your brothers." I understood. I'd been taken. "How much does he owe?" She laughed. "More than you'll ever work off. But you'll try." That night, a man came. Paid cash. She pointed at me, he smiled, I cried, he didn't care, I won't tell you what happened. But afterward I threw up until there was nothing left. Maria found me on the bathroom floor. "It doesn't get easier," she whispered. "But you learn to disappear while they do it." That night, I stopped being Ada. I became a body someone else owned. People think forced exploitation looks like chains and basements. Sometimes it does. But most of the time, it looks like this. A phone you're not allowed to use except to send scripted texts. La Jeffa writes, "Hi, Mommy, I'm fine. Working hard. Don't worry." Mom texts back hearts and prayers. You want to scream, but La Jeffa is watching. A door you could walk out of if you had papers, money, English, or didn't hear La Jeffa's voice. If you run, they'll kill your parents. If you talk, immigration takes your brothers. Men who pay $50, $200, and do as they please. Some are violent, some pretend to care, like politeness makes it okay. All knew I was a kid. None cared. Meals once a day if lucky. Cold rice, stale bread, chicken bones. We fought over food like animals. Carolina got slapped for eating someone else's portion. A Honduran girl was locked in a closet for complaining. Girls disappeared. 1 week, 6 of us, then 5, then 6 again with a new face. A 3-year-old from El Salvador cried for 3 days. We never asked what happened, either moved, died, or dumped when broken. You learn not to ask, not to care. Worst part, my family thought I was fine. Uncle showed them my forced text, said the family didn't allow calls. They believed him because he was family. He gave them money I'd earned and said it was my pay. They believed every word. Have you ever been erased while still breathing? That's what forced exploitation feels like. 3 months in, Carolina whispered in the dark. "You used to dance, right? I saw you moving your feet. I hadn't even realized." My feet tapped rhythm during breakfast muscle memory. My body trying to remember who I used to be. "Yeah," I whispered. "I loved dancing before." "Me too," she said. "Folklorico. My abuela taught me. I felt like a bird. What happened to it? Left it behind when my cousin said I could work at her restaurant." She laughed bitterly. "There's no restaurant. We didn't dance. No music. No space. No energy. La Jeffa would have beaten us for wasting time. But we remembered." In the dark, Carolina described her steps. I described mine. We moved our hands slightly, tracing choreography in the air. It was sad, but it was ours. And sometimes, in those moments, I could almost feel the floor beneath my feet, almost hear the music, almost remember being Ada. Almost. You learn the rules fast. What keeps you alive? Rule 1. Never say no to a client, no matter what he demands. Rule 2. Never try to run. Others tried, they were brought back, and what happened after made us grateful we hadn't. Rule 3. Never ask about the money. You don't earn it. You work off a debt that never shrinks. Rule 4. Never make friends, because friends disappear. And losing people hurts worse than anything they can do to your body. But I broke Rule 4. Carolina became my friend. So did Maria. We shared food, held hands when scared, stayed awake through nightmares. One night Maria got sick fever, vomiting. La Jeffa didn't care, still made her see clients. I watched her stumble out, barely standing. Carolina and I took turns holding her, putting cold water on her forehead with our one towel. Thank you, Maria whispered. For what? For remembering I'm human. That destroyed me. The idea that we had to thank each other for basic kindness. That humanity had become rare. Every few months they moved us, new city, new house. Same hell. First move, November 2015. Lajefa woke us at 4 a.m., told us to pack as if we had things. We got in a van with blacked out windows. Drove for hours. Ended up in Philadelphia, in a house identical to the last, bars, locks, same nightmare. I saw Philadelphia, Baltimore, Richmond, D.C., suburbs, places I might have loved as a normal teen. Instead, I saw them from barred windows and tinted vans. I memorized street signs, trying to hold on to location. But after a while, it all blurred. The moves kept us disoriented, so we couldn't memorize addresses or plan escape. No stability, just rotation to maximize profit. We were product. Inventory. I was 15 inches Baltimore, 16 in Richmond, 17 outside D.C. Do you know what it's like to watch your childhood pass in rented rooms where men pay to destroy you? To mark time not by birthdays or dances, but by how many cities you've been dragged through. I stopped counting cities. Stopped counting days. Stopped counting men. Counting hurt too much. Instead, I counted small things, cracks in the ceiling, sirens outside. How many times Carolina hummed before sleep? Those were the only numbers that didn't break me. They took my voice. I used to sing loud and joyful in Spanish. By year 2, I couldn't remember the words. My throat felt closed like screaming in silence at once. They took my appetite. Food tasted like ash. I ate to survive, not to live. Lost weight, got bony. Lajefa forced me to eat, stood over me while I choked down rice. But my body rejected everything. I was disappearing. They took my dreams. I used to imagine dancing on stage, going to college, my brothers graduating. By the end, I prayed I wouldn't wake up. They took my sense of time. Days bled into nights. I knew winter by the cold, spring by birds outside, but not actual dates. They took my trust in people, family, the idea anyone would help a girl like me, in the belief I mattered. And they almost took my name. I became the Colombian one. Or number 3, how La Jeffa referred to us. You want number 3? She's young, quiet, does what you want. Ada felt like someone I used to know. A girl from another life, a girl who danced and believed in good things. She felt dead, and I was just what was left. Winter 2016, I'd been there about 16 months. Carolina had been there longer. One morning she was just gone, her mattress empty. Her few belongings, a hair tie, a pair of socks, gone too. Where's Carolina? I asked Maria. She shook her head. Don't ask. Where is she? I pressed. Ada? Don't. But I couldn't let it go. Carolina was my friend. We'd survived together. I needed to know. That night, I asked Lajefa. Big mistake. She grabbed me by the hair, slammed me against the wall so hard I saw stars. You want to know where she went? She got mouthy. She got difficult. So she's gone. You want to be next? I never found out what happened to Carolina. Whether she got moved, ran and got caught, or died. But after that, I stopped asking questions. Stopped caring too much. Because caring meant losing. And I'd already lost too much. That was the night I fully disappeared. When the last part of Ada, the part that still believed in friendship, loyalty, and love, went quiet. By the time I was 17, I'd been in that life for almost 3 years. 3 years of being moved, exploited, used. 3 years of fake texts to my family. 3 years of watching girls come and go. 3 years of surviving but not living. I'd stopped imagining escape. It felt like a fantasy for someone who still had hope. And I didn't. One night in February 2018, I lay on my mattress, staring at the ceiling like always. Maria was next to me. 2 new girls from Mexico and Peru were on the other mattresses. They'd only been there a few weeks. Still cried at night. I didn't cry anymore. Had nothing. Left. You think we'll ever get out? Maria whispered. No, I said. And I meant it. Me neither, she said. We lay in the dark. And I thought, this is how I die. Not today. Not tomorrow. But eventually. In a house like this. In a city I don't know. And no one will care. My parents will never know what really happened. My brothers will grow up thinking their sister abandoned them. That thought didn't make me sad anymore. It just was. I didn't know that in 6 hours everything would change. February 2018. 6 a.m. on a Thursday. I woke to shouting, pounding, so loud it felt like the walls were coming down. Police, open the door! My first thought, we're in trouble. We're going to jail. La Jeffa screamed in Spanish, running around. I heard her throwing things. The door crashed open. Men's voices official, calm, different. I pulled the thin blanket over my head and waited to be dragged away. Handcuffed, deported, killed. I didn't even care which. Heavy footsteps, the bedroom door opened. I squeezed my eyes shut. Hey, sweetie, you're okay. You're safe now. A woman's voice. Soft but firm. I pulled the blanket down. A woman knelt beside my mattress. Vest said, police, kind eyes, brown skin. Hair pulled back. What's your name? She asked. I couldn't remember how to talk. It's okay. You're not in trouble, I promise. We're here to help. Ada, I whispered. My voice sounded strange, like I hadn't used it in years. Ada, okay. I'm Officer Ramirez. You're safe now. We're gonna get you out of here. I didn't believe her, but I had no choice. They arrested La Jeffa and 2 men there that night. Over the next week, 6 more, including my uncle Carlos. The raid wasn't even about us. They were investigating a drug operation connected to the house. But they found us. Me and Isabella from Honduras. The others had already been moved or disappeared. We went to a hospital, then a facility for forced exploitation victims. Got clean clothes, real food, beds with sheets, asked questions I couldn't answer, told we were safe until the words meant nothing. I waited for the catch, for La Jeffa to show up, for someone to take me back. But no one came. For the first time in 3 years, no one owned me. I should have felt relief, freedom, joy. I felt nothing. You'd think getting rescued would feel like relief, like freedom, like a movie moment with swelling music. It didn't. They placed me in emergency foster care, gave me a caseworker named Diane who talked fast, smiled a lot, and seemed to think I should be grateful. A lawyer, Miss Patterson, explained I was a victim with rights and could apply for a special visa. A therapist, Dr. Chen, asked, "How do you feel? And what do you want?" I didn't know how to feel, had forgotten how to want. The hardest part? My family. Diane called them, told them I'd been found, told them what happened, some version of it. Said I was safe. My mom screamed. An animal sound. My dad took the phone, voice shaking. My baby. My baby. Over and over. They wanted to see me. Diane arranged a supervised visit. When I walked in and saw them, I almost ran. Mom looked 10 years older. Dad had gray hair that wasn't there before. Both looked destroyed. Mom hugged me so hard I couldn't breathe, sobbed into my hair. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Dad couldn't touch me. Just stood there, hands shaking, tears falling. I didn't know, he kept saying. I swear to God, Ada, I didn't know. I wanted to believe him. Wanted to believe they'd been lied to, that they thought I was really a housekeeper. But part of me will always wonder if they suspected. If they knew deep down but needed the money, my uncle gave them more than they questioned where it came from. We barely talked that first visit, just cried. Sat in silence filled with everything we couldn't say. The worst part came after. My parents wanted to support me. I think they did. But our community, the Colombian families, church people, extended family didn't. Word spread fast. About the arrest. About me. Instead of sympathy, there was judgment. Whispers. Gossip disguised as concern. Did you hear about Carlos's niece? Apparently she was, you know, I heard she was doing that willingly. For money. Now she's claiming she was forced. Her poor family, the shame. In our culture, we don't talk about these things. She should have stayed quiet. My mom later said women at church stopped talking to her. Men looked at my dad with pity, not for me, but for him having a daughter like that, as if I chose it. My extended family was worse. Aunts who knew me since birth said I must have asked for it. Cousins said I should have escaped sooner. My uncle's wife said I destroyed her family by getting him arrested. Said her kids would grow up without a father because of me. Because of me. As if I'd taken myself. In our community, you don't talk about assault or forced work, even if forced. You definitely don't talk about family selling you. It's too shameful. Better to pretend it didn't happen. Better to blame the girl. So I became the problem. Not the victim. The problem. My parents couldn't handle the pressure. Mom cried constantly. Dad stopped going to church, seeing friends. They wanted to support me, but they were drowning too. And me? I couldn't go back to their apartment. It didn't feel safe. How could it? My uncle had sat at that kitchen table, smiled at me, then taken me, so I stayed in foster care. And we became strangers who shared blood, but nothing else. Have you ever lost your family without them dying? That's what it felt like. My foster home was with Patricia, a woman in her 52nds who'd fostered for 20 years. She didn't ask stupid questions like, "Why didn't you escape?" or "Are you okay now?" She gave me space. A room with a door that locked from the inside. Food when I was hungry. Let me sleep with the lights on. "You're safe here," she'd say every night. "No one's coming for you. You can breathe." It took months before I believed her. My therapist, Dr. Chen, once asked, "What did you love before all this?" I couldn't remember. It had been so long. "Think back," she said gently. "Before your uncle. Before the house. What made you happy?" I closed my eyes, searched through the fog, and slowly remembered. "Dancing," I whispered. "I loved dancing." She smiled. "Do you want to try again?" I shook my head. "I can't. My body doesn't feel like mine anymore." "That's okay. But maybe one day." That one day felt impossible. But a few weeks later, something happened. I was folding laundry in Patricia's house. She always played music, oldies, Motown. "Ain't No Mountain High Enough" came on, and without thinking, my hips moved. Just a sway. Patricia noticed. Smiled not with pity, but understanding. "You dance?" she asked. "I used to." "You still do," she said. "You just forgot for a while." That night, she asked if I wanted to try a free dance class at a community center. Salsa, bachata, Zumba. "I don't know," I said. Being around people terrified me. "Just try once. If you hate it, you never have to go back." I almost didn't go. Stood outside the studio for 20 minutes, heart pounding, telling myself I couldn't, that my body was too broken. But then I heard the music. Salsa. That bright rhythm that used to make me feel alive. And my feet remembered before my brain did. I walked in. The instructor, Lucia, a woman in her 52nds with silver hair and red dance shoes, smiled warmly. "First time?" she asked. I nodded. "Perfect. Welcome. I'm Lucia." There were maybe 12 people. All ages. No one looked at me like I was broken. When it was my turn to introduce myself, I managed. "I'm Ada. I used to love dancing. I'm trying to remember how." She nodded like that made perfect sense. "Then let's remember together. That first class, I barely moved, just watched." But I stayed the whole hour. When it ended, Lucia asked, "You coming back next week?" I surprised myself by saying yes. Healing isn't a straight line. It's messy. Some days I'm okay. Some days I want to die. Both can happen in the same hour. Some days I'd wake up almost normal. Eat breakfast. Go to therapy. Work on my GED through a survivor program. Even smile. Other days I couldn't get out of bed. The weight of everything crashed down. I'd lie there, feeling like I was back in one of those houses, feeling hands that weren't there, hearing La Jeffa's voice, smelling cheap cologne and fear. Patricia never pushed, left food outside my door, checked on me quietly, let me exist in whatever state I was in. I started trauma-focused therapy twice a week. It was brutal. Reliving everything. Saying out loud, I was taken, I was assaulted, I was taken by my family, the first-time doctor. Chen said, "You were a child. You were not responsible for any of it." I cried so hard I threw up, because part of me still believed it was my fault, that I should have known, should have fought harder. "You were 14, she said firmly. "You trusted your family. That's not a failing. That's what children are supposed to do." But unlearning shame is harder than learning it. Shame had become part of my DNA. It lived in my bones. 6 months after the rescue, I started volunteering at a youth center, helping kids with homework, organizing supplies, setting up chairs. Nothing major, but it reminded me I could be useful without being used, that I could help without it costing me everything. There was this girl, maybe 13, quiet, always alone. Reminded me of myself. One day she asked for help with math, and while we worked, she said, "Do you like it? Here? Volunteering?" "Yeah," I said. "It helps me remember I'm a person." She looked at me strangely. "Why would you forget?" I didn't know how to answer. So I said, "Sometimes life makes you forget. But you can remember again. It just takes time." She nodded, like she understood more than she should. After she left, I sat there thinking about what I'd said. And I realized I was starting to believe it. That I could remember. That I could be Ada again. Or at least someone new who carried her name with pride instead of shame. I kept going to dance class, week after week. At first, I barely moved. My body felt stiff, foreign, like it belonged to someone else. But Lucia was patient, never asked why I'd stopped, never pressed for details. Just taught steps, corrected form gently, reminded me to breathe. Dancing isn't about perfection, she'd say. It's about feeling, about being present in your body. Being present was the hardest thing I'd ever tried. For 3 years, I'd survived by leaving my body by disappearing while men did what they wanted. Now I was trying to come back, to inhabit myself again, to feel my feet on the floor, my arms in the air, my hips moving to rhythm, to remember my body was mine. It took months, but slowly, something shifted. One moment, 8 months in, Lucia played La Vida es un Carnaval by Celia Cruz, and suddenly my body just knew what to do. Hips swiveled, feet hit the beats, arms moved in ways I'd forgotten they could. I was dancing, really dancing, not thinking, not forcing, just moving. For those 3 minutes, I wasn't a survivor, wasn't a victim, wasn't ashamed or broken. I was just Ada, dancing. When the song ended, I realized I was crying not from sadness, but something else. Relief, joy, the feeling of being alive. Lucia caught my eye and smiled. Didn't say anything, just winked and started the next song. That night, I went home and danced in my room for the first time in 4 years. Just me, my headphones, and my body remembering what freedom felt like. About a year after the rescue, I got a message on Facebook from a name I didn't recognize. It said, "Is this Ada from the house in Baltimore? It's Carolina, Guatemala. Please tell me it's you." My hand shook so hard I almost dropped my phone. Carolina, my friend, the one who disappeared. I called her immediately. When she answered, we both just cried for the first few minutes. Couldn't speak. Just sobbed. "I thought you were dead." I finally managed. "I thought I'd never find you," she said. She told me what happened. Lajefa had taken her to a different forced exploitation ring. She'd been moved to New York, spent another year in that life before a raid similar to mine, got placed in a survivor program, was living in Queens now, working on her GED, going to therapy, learning to be human again. "Do you still think about dancing?" I asked. "Every day," she said. "I haven't tried yet, but I want to." "Me too," I said. "I mean, I am. I'm taking classes. You should try. It helps." We started texting regularly after that, not every day, but enough, just checking in, reminding each other we were real, that we survived, that we weren't alone. Having someone who truly understood made everything a little lighter. 18 months after the rescue, there was a trial. The prosecutors needed me to testify against Lajefa, my uncle, and the others who'd been arrested. I didn't want to. The thought of seeing them again, of describing what happened while they stared at me, made me physically sick. But my lawyer, Miss Patterson, explained my testimony could help put them away and protect other girls, so I said yes. The day I testified was one of the worst of my life. Worse than some days in the houses, because then I could disappear in my head. In court, I had to be present. I had to look at my uncle who wouldn't meet my eyes and describe how he'd taken me. Had to face Lajefa, who stared with pure hate, and recount her cruelty. The defense attorney tried to paint me as willing. "Why didn't you just walk out the door?" he asked. "Because she said she'd kill my family. Because I had no papers. Because I was 14 and believed her. Because I was terrified. But you had a phone that I wasn't allowed to use except to send texts," she wrote. "I was the child," I said, voice breaking. "He's my father's brother and he'd taken me to pay his financial debts. So don't ask me why I didn't leave. Ask him why he did it." The courtroom went quiet. My uncle finally looked at me. For a second I thought I saw remorse, then he looked away. He wasn't sorry, he was just sorry he got caught. They convicted him 15 years. Lajefa got 20. Others got various sentences. It should have felt like justice, like closure. It just felt like more weight I had to carry. Around the 2-year mark post rescue, something changed. Not suddenly, but gradually, like sunrise. I started sleeping better. Not every night, but more often. I started tasting food again. Started talking in therapy without crying every session. Most importantly, I started believing, really believing that what happened wasn't my fault. Dr. Chen once asked, if you could talk to one 4-year-old Ada, what would you say? I thought a long time. I'd tell her it's not her fault, that she's gonna survive, that she's stronger than she knows. Do you believe that? She asked. I'm starting to, I said. And I was. Slowly, painfully, I began to believe I deserved to exist, to take up space, to heal. Shame didn't vanish overnight, but for the first time, it didn't own me. I got my GED at 19, walked across the stage in a community center gym while Patricia cheered loud enough to embarrass me. It felt huge, like I'd reclaimed something they tried to steal. I. I started community college with 2 classes, English and psychology. I wanted to understand trauma, understand myself, maybe help others someday. I got a part-time job at a nonprofit supporting immigrant youth, mostly answered phones and filed paperwork. But sometimes I talked to kids who reminded me of myself, lost, scared, overwhelmed by systems built to break them. And I could say, I understand. It's hard, but you're not alone. Those conversations reminded me why I was still here. At 20, I moved into my own studio apartment. Barely bigger than some rooms I'd been locked in, but it was mine. I could lock the door from the inside, leave whenever I wanted, paint the walls if I felt like it. That freedom, being able to choose, still overwhelms me sometimes. I'm 20 now, almost 3 years since the rescue. Still healing, still learning who I am. I take 4 college classes and am considering majoring in social work, maybe becoming a therapist for forced exploitation survivors. I don't know yet. But I have time. I still dance 3 times a week at Lucia's studio. My body carries trauma in ways it didn't before, but I move. I feel the music. I remember joy exists. I volunteer monthly with a forced exploitation hotline, answering calls, listening to voices that sound like I once did. I tell them what I needed to hear. I believe you. This isn't your fault. There is help. You can survive this. Last month, a 5-year-old called being taken by her stepfather. I talked to her for an hour, helped her make a safety plan, connected her with resources. Weeks later, I learned she'd gotten out, was safe. That's why I keep going. I still see my family sometimes. It's complicated. My mom and I talk more. She's in therapy too. My dad struggles. I think he can't forgive himself. My brothers are teens now. They know some of what happened, but not all. They're just glad I'm back, even if it's different. We'll never be the family we were. Too much broke. But we're trying to build something new. Something honest. I don't talk to my uncle's side of the family. I never will. Here's what they don't tell you about healing. It's not linear. Not pretty. Doesn't look like inspiration posts online. Some days I'm okay. Some days I have panic attacks in grocery stores because a man stands too close. Some days I laugh, dance, feel almost normal. Some days I can't leave my apartment. The world feels too big, too dangerous. I still have nightmares. Still flinch at unexpected touch. Still check locks multiple times. Still carry pepper spray everywhere. But I also have moments of real joy, real peace. Moments where I'm just Ada, existing in the world, not as victim or survivor, but as a person. I'm learning both can be true. I'm healing and still hurt, getting better and forever changed. Moving forward while carrying the past. And that's okay. It has to be. Because this is the only life I have and I refuse to let them take any more of it than they already did. If any part of this sounds familiar, if you're being controlled, trapped, sold, used, please know, it's not your fault. It doesn't matter if the person hurting you is family. Doesn't matter if they say they love you. Doesn't matter if they're part of your community or someone you trusted. Control is abuse. Being forced into anything forced situationshul is assault. Being taken is forced exploitation even without chains. Even if you could leave but are too terrified to try. Even if they're kind sometimes. If someone controls your money, phone, body, movement, or relationships, that's forced exploitation. If they threaten your family, immigration status, or safety, that's forced exploitation. If you do forced, situational things because you owe someone, or fear harm, that's forced exploitation. And it's not your fault. You're not bad, not dirty, not broken beyond repair. You're a person being hurt, and you deserve help. If this story echoes your life, please reach out, not because you're broken, but because you deserve safety and a life that's yours. In the US, call or text the National Human Trafficking Hotline, 1-888-3737-888, 24/7, or text help or info to 233733. It's free, confidential, and multilingual. They won't judge you. They can help you make a safety plan, connect you to local resources, find shelter, or get legal help even if you're not ready to leave yet. If you're undocumented, you're protected. A T visa can help you stay legally. The hotline connects you to immigration lawyers who specialize in survivor cases. You can also text the crisis text line. Text HOME to 741-741. If calling feels too scary, visit humanforcedexploitationhotline.org. They offer live chat. If you're an immigrant hurt by someone in your community, reach out to immigrant serving organizations. They understand cultural barriers, fear, and shame. You don't need proof, don't need bruises, don't need perfect English or legal papers. You just need to say, I need help. That's all. And someone will be there. Thank you for listening, for bearing witness, for not looking away. I'm not the girl I was before. She died in that first house. I had to become someone new, someone who carries her memory but isn't defined by trauma. I'm becoming someone who can say her name and mean it, who can dance without permission, who can choose where to live, what to eat, who to trust. It's been almost 3 years. I don't think about my uncle every day anymore. Some mornings I wake up and realize I'm just okay. Not healed, not over it, but free. And that's enough. For now, that's enough. If you're still in the dark, know this, there's a way out. It's terrifying, messy, hard, but it's there. And you're strong enough to walk it even when you feel like nothing. You're not nothing, you're everything. You have a name, a heartbeat, a future that can still be yours. You are not alone. Thousands have walked this path, thousands more are walking it now. We're all here breathing, surviving, healing in our own messy ways. Your future can be yours again. Your body can be yours. Your name can be yours. And your voice, when you're ready, can save someone else's life. Sharing this saved mine. I hope it helps save yours. Where are you in your healing? If you feel comfortable, share one word: trying, tired, free, surviving, fighting, or whatever feels true. No explanation needed, just one word. And know wherever you are, I see you. You matter. You are not alone. Your name belongs to you. Say it. Remember it. Reclaim it. You are more than what was done to you, and you deserve to be free.